my god. I'm sitting on an ottoman right now and the top is caving in because it's broken. So if I cave in and fall through the frame, that's why. Oh, that's right. Don't mind the wind hitting against my window. It's only -40 outside and really freezing, so. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you are new, hi, my name is Noah. I post videos every single week, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. So, yeah, it's been a hot sec since I've sat in this room and done a video. I was home for 6 weeks for a winter term break, and they added 3 weeks of like a tri-semester so that people could study abroad or take online classes, but I just sat at home and was doing things, a lot of things. I did nothing. We're back, we're motivated, we're excited, we're pumped about the new year, and what better way to start than doing a new video, so today's video is interesting. So I'm gonna be telling the story of my driving experience and when I got my license and about how I failed my test and just the whole shebang with that. It's really dramatic and interesting, so we're gonna be here today and talk about it. So, but yeah, if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe and like this video. My Instagram is Noah_Wisniewski and my Twitter is Noah Wisniewski. If you want to follow, I'll have a little thing right here so you can see what kind of stuff I post. And yeah, I think that's it. Let's get right into this. I'm stoked. So for those of you who don't know, I don't think I've ever said this in a video, but I am 19 and I am a sophomore currently in college, but I didn't have my driver's license until the last week of my winter break of 2019. I actually did driver's ed back in 2015. Yeah, I think it was 2015. I did it with one of my really close friends. We took the class together. I definitely have always had kind of more of like a resistance to drive. I've never been a really big car person or in any kind of a rush to like do anything involving cars, if that makes sense. But I was 15 going on 16, I was about to be a junior, and I took driver's ed going into my junior year of high school during the summer. So, this is actually a really funny story. This is like a side story, but I was in driver's ed with my friend Ty, and we had our instructor or whatever, and it was, I think like Wednesdays at like 6 to 7 for like once a week for like the summer or whatever, and I didn't have time to eat dinner that day, so I brought a granola bar, and I went to go take a bite of my granola bar as my driving instructor was doing his like lecture or whatever, and my granola bar was so tough and hard that when I ripped it off, it made the loudest crunch, and he was a really like stern, strict guy, and he just looked at me and was like, "I guess you didn't eat dinner, did you?" And I was like, "I'm sorry." So yeah, that's that. I got my permit and everything was going pretty smoothly with it. The only thing was I wasn't in really any rush to get my hours in. Driving definitely was like kind of a scary thing for me. It still is, as I honestly feel like most people think driving is a scary thing. So I got my permit and I was doing pretty good for a while, but I was a very busy kid in high school. Like, I was in theater, I was in the choir, I was in forensics, which is like a debate team. I did stuff to help others around school, and I did a lot of stuff. I lived like 3 minutes away from my school, and I didn't ever really have time to go out and drive with my parents, and if we did, I would always get super tired, which I still kind of do, but like, not really sure why that is. But so then the summer went by, and I didn't get enough more practice because like I kind of forgot how the whole driving thing went. Then I went back to college for my second year, didn't get much driving time in then, and finally I came back to winter and I was like, okay, I'm eventually gonna have to have my license at some point. Like, this has to happen. Like, we can't be playing around anymore. It's time. So yeah, basically my mom was like, you're gonna get your license. I know you want to, and we're gonna practice. So I scheduled your appointment for the Secretary of State to go get your driver's license on the 20th of January. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Just so I know, like, oh, this is the date that I have to have my practice in by. I'm gonna have to get my test in before then. It'll all work out, everything will be cool. Hold on one sec, let me bring the lighting down. I look orange. There we go, that's better. If you don't know what Secretary of State is, Secretary of State is basically like the place where you go to get your license and ID. It's like a special thing for Michigan, I think, because everyone in Ohio says that it's the DMV, drivers something. I don't know. But we go to Secretary of State in Michigan. The 6 weeks of my break went by pretty quick, but I did end up getting a lot of practice in, and I was feeling pretty confident about my driving, even though me and my parents did have a few squalls. Anyways, so I scheduled my driver's test for the Sunday before I went back to school. Right, the Tuesday before I went back to school was when my appointment was, and that's when I was gonna get my license, and the Sunday I was going to take my test. So my younger brother, got his driver's license before I did, and was I salty? Yes. Did I accept it? Yes, I'm fine. I don't care. We scheduled the driving test for my brother with like this really nice guy. Everything went really smooth. He passed it the first time. Cool. So my mom and I looked up, we found the guy, we scheduled an appointment with him, and I was gonna have the same guy. Everything was going smoothly. That was the plan. Sunday rolls around, I'm freaking out because I'm super nervous about doing the driver's test because it's a big deal. Like, this has been building up in my head for so long that I need to have my license. Everyone always rubs it in my face that like I don't. When in reality it's really not that big of a deal, but like, whatever. We pull up to the parking lot, in which is in my hometown, so like I know the area really well. Like, I probably went on the route that I was gonna take a couple of times just for practice because my dad was with my brother when he took the test, so he knew the general route of what was going on, right? We're parked in the parking lot right before I take my test. I was pretty confident in backing up, by parallel parking, driving on the road, like I was sure I was gonna pass, do good, and then this car pulled up and it wasn't the guy we scheduled. It was another lady, and she kind of had a language barrier, so like I couldn't really understand her, which is really cool because it helps with other people who can't like understand English that well. So like she was helping with a bunch of different people, so that's really cool. But for me, it was really hard to understand her, so that was already kind of a hard situation. She wasn't very friendly at all, and mind you, I was freaking out. I was so nervous, and so that was, oh my god. Sorry, it's so cold outside that the inside of my windows are freezing. Hold on, I'm gonna take a video on my phone and show you. Look at this, is on the inside of my dorm. That's crazy. Like, look at it. That's ice. So yeah, so she comes over, she's like, hey, are you taking the driver's test today? And I was like, yeah. So I gave her my permit and everything was going somewhat smoothly, other than the fact I was really nervous, but went through, pulled into the spot, backed up into the spot, did parallel parking. Pretty good. I'm really good at parking, so like, it wasn't a big deal. My dad was standing outside because he drove the car to get to the parking lot so I could take the test. And she looks at him and she's like, he's 18, like, you can't be in the car when we take the test. Mind you, it's like 15 degrees outside and everywhere is closed and the nearest building is locked. So she was about to go make him go stand in this building that was locked, but then she finally was just like, oh no, just come in, like, it's cold outside, like, I don't want you to wait, which was like nice. Thankfully she didn't make my dad wait out in the freezing cold. But yeah, so we went on the test. I stopped at a stop sign, stopped at another stop sign. Everything was going really smoothly. I was kind of nervous still, and I pulled up to a red light. Now, this red light I'm like really familiar with because I know the area really well, and it's always blinking red. It's always blinking red. I pulled up to the stop sign, looked at the light or whatever, it was red, looked both ways to make sure that no one was coming, but the sun that day was so bright because the night before it snowed, I couldn't even really tell that the light was on. So because I know that it's usually blinking red, I looked at it and it looked like it was kind of going back and forth, but because it was so sunny, I couldn't tell. So I went, and she looked at me and she was like, what was that back there? And I was like, a blinking red. And she was like, or she pointed forward and was like, what's that? And I was like, a red. And she's like, no, back there. I was like, okay, a blinking red. She's like, no, that was a red. So she told me to go back. She told me turn left, turn left, turn left. Went back to the parking lot and she's like, you failed your test. I was like, first off, my dad was in the car and said that it turned green before I went, even if it was red, which was annoying. And it's usually blinking red. So I went home. I was really upset because the last thing I wanted to do was fail my test after 4 years of anticipation about this. I've been worried and stressed and just didn't want to get this done with, and finally I got the courage and I went and I failed. So this is the video of me crying afterwards. So
did you even understand her?
you have to listen, yes.
Okay. So
So yeah, so that happened. That day was pretty stressful. I definitely cried my eyes out for like a really long time, and I usually don't cry, so you know that like it was hitting me. It was hitting me hard. Anyways, so we called back. We rescheduled for another time the day right before I was getting my driver's license. So, oh, I messed up earlier. The appointment was on Wednesday, not Tuesday. So Tuesday, scheduled the appointment for another test with the same guy. My mom called. She was like, yo, we called, we want this guy. Like, please, we need this guy. Like, whatever. So I went driving with my dad the next day. Everything was good. Still feeling like still didn't really have a lot of confidence with driving because, again, I literally just failed my test and like my self-esteem dropped like drastically. So Tuesday rolled around, went back to go take the test. The guy pulls up, comes to the car, super nice, perfect. This is what I needed. I needed someone who was personable and made me not feel nervous. That's what I kind of needed just because I was already so nervous. So he pulls up, grabs my permit, grabs my ID. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go do some paperwork. I'll be right back. Kind of like the other lady did the first time I took the test. Comes back, your permit's expired. I said, you, what? No, it's not. My permit is not expired. He showed me the date. It expired 3 months ago. The first lady didn't even realize that it was expired, but still let me take the test. So then we had to go back to Secretary of State to get my permit renewed, which the one in my hometown, online it said it was a 300-minute wait. So we didn't wait in that one. We went to a different one. And it's so disgusting in there. Like, everyone smelled like cigarettes. Everyone was really crusty, and I was not having it. So yeah, I got my permit renewed. We got the instructor's phone number who was going to be taking the test and said that if we got back by 1, he could still stick around and still do my test. Luckily, we literally got back just in time, took my test, everything went really smoothly, and I passed, which is very exciting. But yeah, this whole experience with driving has just, it's been really, really kind of difficult, especially because everyone around me was more advanced and progressed with it and more comfortable with it, and I always felt like a nuisance when people would have to drive me around places. But again, I lived on campus. I lived 3 minutes away from school in high school, and it really wasn't that bad. One message I have to say to like anyone who's watching this is that if you're not ready to drive, you don't necessarily have to. It's a scary world out there, and if you aren't ready, you're not ready. It's okay. Like, if you're going to college, you can live on campus and walk places. I understand that people sometimes live far away from school and have to commute, and if that's kind of the situation, then like that gives you motivation to want to actually get your license and get better at it. But if you were in my position and weren't comfortable with it, then take your time. It's okay. But I think that's it. I don't know. Let me know if you guys like this video. This was fun. I like doing This was fun. I like doing sit-down videos like this, and I think that's where I'm gonna end the video off today because it is cold and I want to go sleep and watch a movie. So that is all for today, folks. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below what kind of video you want to see next, and go follow me on Instagram. I hope you all are having a fantastic day, and I will see you all in my next video.